Absolutely. Our bank holiday with you, Dawn.
Thank you very much. I just got one little message to read out from Alison. I've been corrected. I'm sorry. I would like to apologise sincerely for this, Alison. We were talking about what you like in fish and chip shops.
Yes.
And I said a Wally was a little gherkin. Alison says it's a big gherkin.
Oh, OK.
I just wanted to clarify.
But you're a Savoy and chips girl, are you, Dawn?
Well,
I just wanted to say Savoy on television,
yeah,
basically.
you do.
I
Thank you
fulfilled
very much. Thank you very much.
Right. From one Wally to another.
Matthew Larser. Ben, I've dragged myself here on a bank holiday as well. Oh,
that is...
I know you don't mean
Sorry.
it.
How long did it take you to think of that? That was really good.
It was quick, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was quick, considering you're very tired. And very orange, as people are noticing. It's a tan. It's not fake tan, it's real. OK, who wants to start then? Teachers trained to challenge whiteness.
Less of the Savoy.
Go for it.
More of the common sense.
Absolutely. Yeah,
well, apparently teachers are being asked, sort of undergoing anti-racist training. They're in schools, they're being trained to disrupt the centrality of whiteness. And this term, in this context, whiteness means social attitudes considered normal by white people. I think we can all agree that we don't want any form of racism or any form of sort of racist assumptions within schools. But I think it's quite dangerous when we're constantly making white pupils, white students feel apologetic for just being white. So this is a kind of creeping, normalisation of anti-racist whiteness, to challenging whiteness.
Matthew, call me old-fashioned, but shouldn't teachers be teaching things like maths and English and history and geography, or...?
And not critical race theory. I think that is a strong argument. I mean, it's sort of, you start reading this article and it says, ensure future educators are anti-racist, which, as Emma says, is absolutely something that, everybody would agree on. But what is a bit worrying about this is it seems to be drawn into two different curriculums, one north of the border in Scotland and one developed by a consortium of Scottish universities, and one south of the border led by Newcastle University. And it's when it gets into understanding the impact of whiteness, and this is the favourite phrase is disrupt the centrality of whiteness. Yeah. Now, if that means saying that, just being aware that, many people in British society, many young people in our schools are not white, that's one thing. But it's starting to say that people need to sort of 7-year-olds need to apologise for their whiteness. It seems to me that tips over. And I'm slightly unclear as to why this Department for Education doesn't oversee these things. They're just developed in the universities and the teacher training institutions without much supervision. So I think there'll be questions raised.
I think there is an argument for, when you look at history, to explain the context. Yeah. It's all about contextualisation and looking back and explaining colonialism or, racism in the past or slavery.
Absolutely.
All of that, absolutely. But what I see, and I have a 4-year-old who was in nursery, who will be at school, is that he was in a nursery that was all sorts of colours. And they absolutely, children who are brought up surrounded by difference and surrounded by people of every skin colour, every faith, every religion, are pretty open-minded, and they don't see whiteness as a thing. In fact, my child doesn't say, oh, so-and-so's white or so-and-so's black. He just literally doesn't see it. He just sees other people, and that is great.
Same as you. My boy's the same age as yours, I think. He doesn't... Kids don't see skin colour. They don't... And it's not just about critical race theory or, it's about sexual relationships, everything else. Kids don't view the world like we do, and I wish adults and parents would stop trying to impose their baggage and their life corruption on innocent young children. Just leave them alone.
Just let them be, because they're growing up and they are totally fine with everybody of every different... I think so much more open-minded than we were.
It's one thing to say that teachers are crucial to anti-racism work, but rather worryingly, it says that notions of whiteness include a belief in meritocracy. Well, I would have thought, if you look at many ethnic minority communities in Britain, particularly if you look at the school results over the last few weeks, where London, the most ethnically diverse part of the country, is the one where school results have been surging over the last 10, 15 years. Actually, meritocracy is a vital, very much a value of many, many ethnic minority communities. So I think that this is just sometimes it's white liberals getting themselves in a mess.
Too much time on their hands.
Where should we go next?
Let's go to Whitehall, talking of wasting time. Yeah, that's
you
always...
to say Whitehall.
Oh, gosh, yes. Non-discriminate colour hall. Daily Mail. Whitehall staff are wasting £13.9 billion as they target pensioners. The topic you're all on again today, for winter fuel cash. What's going on with this one?
Yeah, so basically this is a taxpayers' alliance. There's a little bit of we know quite a lot of this already, but it's clearly being marshalled as an argument as the government, as you say, Dawn, cuts means test the winter fuel allowance. You must emphasise that it's being means tested, so some pensioners, so those on pension credit, will still get it. So the particular focus today is on money that the Department for Work and Pensions is wasting internally. Apparently, it's still paying £16 million in rent for job centres that were temporary job centres from the pandemic. One ex-employee is being identified for a loss of 600 grand, and another person.
But yeah, that loss of 600 grand was to people he seemed to know.
Yes.
Well.
Matthew, that's quite disingenuous. Loss of 600 grand.
It's in quotes. That's
A civil service. I'll just tell you, a civil service allegedly handed £600,000 in benefits to his friends. OK? So that's a little bit more than a loss down the back of the sector.
No, absolutely. Look,
do you know what I object to?
I'm not defending it.
Do you know what I object to on this? When we have Starmer's speech tomorrow, which has been heavily trailed about, there's corruption and there's rot and there's blah, 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 and these are the tough choices we need to make about cutting things like, the fuel payments for pensioners. No, the tough choices should be applied to everybody. Tough choices, why are the tough choices being made on pensioners and not on, for example, public sector pay? Tough choices should be made with equity, with fairness, and this is not fair. And the fact is, there is a huge amount, £13.9 billion wasted in fraud and error. And OK, that's not on the Labour Party because they weren't in government. Sure. But in general, Whitehall need to clean up their act.
I agree with you.
Stop punishing the most vulnerable.
Yeah, well, Rachel Reeves is one of her aims is a war on waste. She's setting up a way that she analyses all government spending, so that you actually start from what should we be spending money on. And I think that continually clamping down on fraud in the welfare budget is vitally important. And absolutely, if you're a pensioner whose winter fuel allowance is going to be taken away because you're not on pension credit, then you're clearly going to be very angry. At any money wasted, which could be spent better. OK,
shall we move on? The Daily Mail. Sorry, Dawn, would you want
No, I was going to make no comment whatsoever. I'm just looking at how angry everybody is out there about what the Labour Party are doing to pensioners.
Yeah, lots of comments on your say.
Yeah.
Page 5 of the Daily Mail. Gen Z don't want to
Gen Z, we're English, Benjamin.
so let me get this straight. So Gen Z is the correct term.
Yes.
Gen Z, we're English,
Yes, we're not American.
Right, I am not, by the way, I am not Gen Z either. I'm a millennial, I believe.
I think you are.
Right.
I'm just a bit...
Your birthday this week, how old are you going to be, Ben?
17.
Then you are a Gen Z.
He has 2 children. Let's just be
He started very young, yes.
This is hilarious, this one.
Gen Z don't want to speak to waiters, so it's just Gen Z. Stop it. They don't want to speak to waiters because they'd rather have their heads buried in mobile phones, digital apps. Basically, they've got no social.
I'm only getting you back because you called me a wally. So the boss of Bill's, the popular restaurant chain, is called Tom James, has said that he's installed in several branches self-service kiosks and the old QR codes that were, ordering on a QR code from the pandemic, because he says that Gen Z, I nearly said Gen Z. Gen Z don't want to talk to waiters. They'd rather do it all on their phone without having any human contact. So he thinks it's going to spread. But of course, what I don't understand about this story is obviously there were hospitality staff of all ages. Obviously, a lot of people do it as their first job or a part-time job when they're studying. So there's a lot of Gen Z waiters. So Gen Z doesn't want to talk to other Gen Z. It's not even like they've got to talk to authority figures.
This is so sad. Surely one of the main things, the social aspect of going out, dining, chatting to your server, chatting to your barman, chatting to the barmaid, chatting to your waitress. I've never, and I think, Dawn, I heard you say earlier, you wouldn't want to go to a restaurant.
Anything that encourages me to... Yeah, with a QR code.
Do you not order on the app with spoons, Dawn?
I have never...
Darling.
No.
Spoons. Please.
I've never been to a restaurant or a bar where you have to scan it all, and I think it's utterly dehumanising to people. I think it should be part of the experience of dining out, or even just grabbing food out, is that you say, hi, here's my sandwich, can you scan...
So I actually did go into Spoons yesterday and with a friend, and he couldn't decide what he wanted, so we sat there for about half an hour, and we played about on the app, and we never ordered anything and left because our time ran out because he was just fiddling on the app.
Matthew, in the old days, you might have had a conversation with someone at the bar, you might have decided, or you might have said to the waiter, what's good today, you might have had a chat.
Yeah.
Well,
human contact.
We're going to carry on chatting to you too later. Unfortunately, we're running out of time now. Matthew Lanza, Emma Wolf, thank you very much. We'll see you very soon. But